We are pleased to confer the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree today. I would like to present the honorary degree recipient, Dr. Tania Miller. Tania Miller understands leadership. As music director and conductor of the Victoria Symphony Orchestra, Maestra Miller is a force through which musicians layer sound. She studies the work of great masters, and on the podium leads a 55-piece ensemble to bring those works to life. Behind the scenes, she is responsible for developing the symphony's repertoire and technical skills, as well as interpreting music for myriad instruments. It is a job that requires teamwork and respect for the musicians with whom she works. Maestra Miller must teach, inspire, and innovate, and she does these exceptionally well. Maestra Miller is the first Canadian woman to be music director of a major symphony orchestra, and is among a small handful of female conductors in North America. Since she became music director 12 years ago, the Victoria Symphony Orchestra has flourished, and the orchestra's annual community event, Symphony Splash, has steadily grown in prestige. Some 40,000 people gather at Victoria Harbour in August of each year to watch one of the country's finest ensembles of musicians perform. Beyond Symphony Splash, Maestra Miller continually strives to bring classical music to the community in new ways. Outreach programs include annual education concerts for 7,000 local children and annual summer performances at Butchart Gardens. In 2013, the Symphony collaborated on a series of concerts that explored Emily Carr's art, and more recently, Maestra Miller developed events commemorating the centenary of the onset of the First World War. Lest we forget, what's the name of that concert? I was there, and for a couple of hours you could have heard a pin drop. Maestra Miller blends contemporary and classical music in surprising ways, at times drawing on art forms such as dance and film to keep the symphony's work relevant. Through Maestra Miller, the Victoria Symphony Orchestra has raised the bar across Canada for the presentation of diverse artistic experiences to people of all ages and walks of life. Maestra Miller's drive to bring quality orchestral music, including classical and contemporary music, to communities is deep-seated. She grew up on a farm in Saskatchewan near Foam Lake, far away from orchestral music. I was kind of lucky. I spent my time about 80 miles from her farm. We're sod busters, right, Tania? From Saskatchewan, and I really feel it. As a child, she aspired to play piano professionally and heard her first orchestra live at age 19 in Regina. After earning a Bachelor of Music degree in piano performance and education at the University of Saskatchewan, Maestra Miller taught piano at the high school level. In her early 20s, during a summer course in Calgary, she discovered her talent for conducting. Maestra Miller was invited to study at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, where she attained master's and doctoral degrees in conducting. It's all about leadership. Maestra Miller's career includes working as an assistant and then associate conductor at the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra. She has conducted numerous operas and held the prestigious title of guest conductor at symphonies in Switzerland, Poland, the United States, and across Canada. For her exemplary work as a leader and for her extraordinary artistic achievements, Royal Roads University is proud to present Tania Miller for the honorary degree Doctor of Laws. Dr. Miller, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Royal Roads University Act, and in accordance with the recommendation of the Board of Governors of Royal Roads University, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Laws honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and honors here and elsewhere appertaining. Dr. Tania Miller will now be hooded by Dr. Alan Cahoon, President and Vice Chancellor. Wonderful. Good for you. Good for you. A Royal Roads hero. And President Alan Cahoon will now present Tania Miller with her degree. It is with great pleasure that I now call upon Dr. Tania Miller to deliver the Convocation address.
Chancellor, President, distinguished Board of Governors, esteemed faculty, proud graduates, and all of you family and friends. I want to start with heartfelt congratulations to all of you graduates today. You made it, and today you stand to start a new direction in life. You've come from vast and exciting and meaningful backgrounds. Some of you from previous different careers, family responsibilities, earlier schooling, and somewhere along the way you said, now is the time to move on to the next version of myself, to the next chapter of my life. How exciting is this moment? First, before you step beyond these doors, take a moment to congratulate yourselves. And when you feel that moment of pride and feel that connection with yourself, say, hello, old friend. Because this is the person that you will have by your side as you go into the new world for which you aspire. This is the friend who will pick you up and push you on. Your trust, your dreams, your perspectives, your principles, your life. This is the you that had the ambitious idea to get a degree from Royal Roads, despite incredible challenges and other aspects of life for which others would have said, forget about it. And this is the you that juggled these challenges to make this moment happen. Don't forget this friend, because you need him or her to do the next part, which isn't going to be easy, because you see, you have not made it, you have only just begun. This is the moment of redefining yourself, and now you've got to get to the next step. And for that, you're going to have to be intense about it and committed to making the connections and steps necessary to do it successfully. Chance still plays a part, And as hard as we may work, we are not always in control. But remember, failure is the only way to know that you are truly going to new places. Every great leader on this earth went through or is going through enormous trials, deeply stressful decisions and failures. They have endured moments where they could win it all or lose it all, and that is a true leader. It is the tough times that deepen our character and harden our determination. And think about this. When things seem at their worst, it could just simply be that you are finding yourself at the very top of the level that you are currently in, and that from your lofty vantage point, you can see everything that you are restlessly ready to outgrow and move beyond. Things seem frustrating because you have grown out of your old skin and are moving into new levels of understanding, wisdom, and success in your life. But don't worry. When you ascend to the bottom of the next level, things will seem fine once again as ignorance blissfully shields you from the new challenges ahead. The point is, when things seem toughest, it might just be because you are on the brink of moving on to something great. For those of you who are planning to be leaders in your fields, I want to stress how important it is to define the principles that will guide you and your organization successfully ahead. Have a strong vision for your organization and field. This is the most important for a future leader and will define your leadership. As you gain experience in your field, your approach and your vision will start to define itself. But at the beginning, when you are in new territory, these principles will be your foundation. You will rely on them, you should trust them, and stick to them, no matter how difficult. I remember the challenging times at the opening years when I was music director of the Victoria Symphony. Young, female, the opposite of what a conductor in a long-standing traditional field of conducting should be. There was no one previous that was anything like me. I needed to define a new kind of leader, not the traditions of the past. I had to lead our organization into a new direction and convince them of the vision first so that they would see beyond me and instead into the plans ahead. And I had to put that vision, those principles, clearly ahead of me. I can't tell you how much I relied on those principles to guide me when times were tough, especially in my early years of inexperience. And as a woman, this is important too, because leadership then becomes about the work you are doing, the preparation, the vision, and not about you, the person. Your gender, male or female, evaporates rightly into the background as it becomes irrelevant. And this is, in my view, an important part of the path to success. And that's because ultimately, leadership is not about you. It's about what you are creating with other people. Humility is incredibly important. You are a great leader if you inspire others to work and be at their best and empower them to have that success. And sometimes that means tough decisions, making changes, communicating to people directly, moving things around. This can seem impossible unless you have your principles and your vision to guide you along the way. Napoleon had 6 dynamite rules for managing an empire. And as you know, he did fairly well at these goals. And of these rules, the most important had to do with people. He worked with his armies to ensure that they were flexible, that they maintained honor and integrity, and that they had high morale. And one of his rules particularly sticks with me, which is that momentum, which is mass times velocity, applied to achieving goals with people as well. He understood that resistance causes momentum to fade. So, providing focus of economy and concentration of force was important in getting everyone working together. And of course, that takes extraordinary planning and strong vision. In whatever your field, be open, truly dig deep in terms of seeing things as they really are. Challenge assumptions. Don't accept something just because it has been done before. In my world, one thing I know is that the world is changing in a bewildering and fast way. In regards to the arts, things are transforming in such major ways. Gone are the days when classical music, for instance, is the music that people sit by the radios and listen to by popular choice. Gone are the days, in fact, when people just listen, although you're doing a very good job. We need movement. We need lights and screens, attention-driven happenings that occur every 20 seconds. We clamor daily for the next thing that will grab the attention of a crazed world, a world which can seem to be on overdrive and hyperspeed and obsessed with time, money, and excitement. On one hand, in the arts, all can seem lost. It seems that the world is too preoccupied to sit still for a couple of hours to listen to something as meaningful as music. But I believe in the power of music. I've experienced the impact that it has on people and how it changes and enriches our lives. I believe in the lasting power of something that brings beauty, transformation, thought, emotion, thrill, spirituality, focus, and inspiration. And I am a leader in the field of the arts. Therefore, if I believe in it, I must find a way to meet these challenges, to unlock new directions, and to find new ways to connect to people of today's world, our community, and our culture. Whatever your own journey, whatever area that you are going to, find a way to lead the world to the things that are important, that are life-changing for yourself and others. Take this moment today to think big about what you want to accomplish with your life. When you think about your own leadership, the goals of your industry, find the things that are going to make a legacy for you and for all of the world that you want to be a part of. When I conduct the Victoria Symphony's Symphony Splash concert in the summer, the night descends upon 40,000 people that come together on that special evening every year. We find that moment where we see why we are, what life is for, why life is beautiful. Music always speaks to us then, and I affirm again in my own life why I am passionate about what I do. You will find those moments too in what impacts your own directions, and listen to them. For all of you, whether you are going into a new field, whether you are going to be leaders in that field, I hope for you that it is a passion. I hope that no matter what direction you are going in, that you always will search to stay connected to your culture and community and to support that community to be the best it can be. At this time of year, we are challenged to think beyond ourselves, to think about our country, about our history, and to those who have made our world the way it is today. And it is our responsibility to play our own in supporting our communities, in being part of something greater than ourselves. May you always find time for maintaining a healthy life, for listening, for just being with family and friends and things that make your life happy. Make time to experience true natural beauty in the outdoors. Make time for the arts, for sports, leisure, in each other, and in a moment. May you define balance as a great part of your own success so that you and those around you are happy and that your overall life is a success. I wish you strength in your new transitions in life, and remember, those tough times ahead are going to define you more than anything else. They are going to change you into the experienced, deep-thinking, wise person that you will become, and they will teach you about yourself. In a way, it doesn't really matter whether you make it to where you think you are going today. Life is about the journey itself. I want to finish with a story about the famous violinist Itzhak Perlman. This is a story that was written by Jack Reamer and taken from the Houston Chronicle. And it's written about a concert that happened about 20 years ago when Itzhak Perlman, the famous violinist, came on stage to give a concert at Avery Fisher Hall in New York City. Here's the story. If you have ever been to a Perlman concert, you know that getting on stage is no small achievement for him. He was stricken with polio as a child, and so he has braces on both legs and walks with the aid of 2 crutches. To see him walk across the stage one step at a time, painstakingly and slowly, is an awesome sight. He then sits down slowly, puts his crutches on the floor, undoes the clasps on his legs, tucks one foot back, and then picks up his violin. By now, his audiences are used to this ritual. They sit quietly while he makes his way across the stage to his chair and reverently wait while he gets ready to play. But this time, in this concert, something went wrong. Just as he finished the first few bars, one of the strings on his violin broke. You could hear it snap. It went off like gunfire across the room. There was no mistaking what that sound meant, and there was no mistaking what he had to do. People who were there that night thought to themselves that he would have to get up, pick up his crutches, and slowly make his way off stage to either find another violin or to fix the string on his. But he didn't. Instead, he waited a moment. He closed his eyes, and then he signaled the conductor to begin. The orchestra began, and he played with such passion and such power. Of course, anyone knows that it's impossible to play a symphonic work with just 3 strings. I know that, and you know that. But that night, Itzhak Perlman refused to know that. You could see him adjusting his fingerings, changing and modifying the piece. At one point, it even sounded like he was detuning the strings to get the right notes. When he finished, there was an awesome silence in the room. And then people rose and cheered. There was an extraordinary outburst of applause from every corner of the auditorium. Everyone was on their feet, screaming and cheering and doing everything they could to show how much they appreciated what he had done. He smiled and wiped the sweat from his brow and raised his bow to quiet the audience. And then he said, not boastfully, but in a quiet tone, "You know, sometimes it is the artist's task to find out how much music you can still make with what you have left." And who knows, perhaps that is the definition of life, not just for artists, but for all of us. Here is a man who has prepared all his life to make music on a violin of 4 strings, who, all of a sudden, in the middle of a concert, finds himself with only 3 strings. So he makes music with 3 strings, and the music that he made that night with just 3 strings was more beautiful, more special, more memorable than any that he had ever made before. Our task in our lives is to live, to make music, at first with all that we have, and then, when that is no longer possible, to make music with what we have left. I offer you again such congratulations and good wishes for your future. Thank you very much.